Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's heating up in 2025, third-party risk. Specifically, how regulators in Europe and the US are cracking down on vendors. If you're a business owner, a compliance officer, or just someone curious about how the world of regulation is shifting, this video is for you. We're going to unpack why third-party risk is such a big deal, what regulators are doing about it, and the latest updates from both sides of the Atlantic. Plus, I'll throw in some practical tips to stay ahead of the curve. So let's get started. First off, what do we mean by third-party risk? It's the potential danger that comes from working with external vendors. Think software providers, cloud services, or even your HVAC company if they've got access to your systems. When these third parties mess up, like a data breach or a compliance failure, it's not just their problem, it becomes your problem. And regulators, they've noticed. Let's break it down. So why is this a hot topic in 2025? Well, third-party risks have exploded in recent years. Cyber attacks like the SolarWinds breach back in 2020 or the Target HVAC fiasco in 2013 showed us that vendors can be the weak link in the chain. Fast forward to today, and the stats are wild. Reports suggest over half of all data breaches now involve a third party. That's not just a cybersecurity issue, it's a regulatory nightmare. Here's the deal. Businesses rely on vendors more than ever. Cloud computing, AI tools, payment processors, you name it. But with that reliance comes risk. If your vendor gets hacked, fails to comply with laws, or even just goes offline, it can tank your operations, cost you millions, and land you in hot water with regulators. And trust me, regulators in 2025 are not playing around. They're targeting vendors directly and holding companies accountable for their third-party relationships. Let's see how this is unfolding in Europe first. All right, let's hop over to Europe, where the EU is leading the charge on third-party risk. As of April 2025, we're seeing some major updates that businesses need to know about. The big player here is the Digital Operational Resilience Act, or DORA, which kicked into full enforcement in January 2025. DORA is all about making sure financial institutions and their vendors are cyber resilient. Under DORA, if you're a bank, insurer, or investment firm in the EU, you've got to test your systems regularly, have contingency plans, and, here's the kicker, make sure your third-party vendors meet the same security standards. That means if your cloud provider or IT vendor isn't up to snuff, you're on the hook. The European supervisory authorities are watching closely, and they're not afraid to slap fines on companies that don't comply. Next up, there's PSD3, the Third Payment Services Directive, which rolled out updates in 2025. This one's aimed at payment providers and their third-party partners. It's pushing for stronger fraud prevention and better data sharing security. For example, if you're a fintech using a third-party API, PSD3 says you need airtight consent mechanisms and top-notch encryption. Regulators are basically saying, no more weak links. And let's not forget the EU AI Act. It's fully in play by August 2025, but some rules like banning high-risk AI systems started earlier this year. If your vendor's using AI, they've got to meet strict transparency and safety standards. The European AI Office is cracking down, and companies could face penalties if their vendors' AI tools don't comply. Bottom line, Europe's regulators are targeting vendors to tighten the whole supply chain. Now, let's cross the pond to the US, where things are heating up too. The regulatory landscape here is a bit more fragmented than Europe's, but the focus on third-party risk is just as intense. One big update in 2025 comes from FINRA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. Their 2025 Oversight report dropped in February, and for the first time, it includes a whole section on third-party vendor risks. FINRA's worried about how much firms rely on vendors, especially for tech and AI. They're seeing more cyber attacks and outages tied to third parties, so they're telling companies to step up their due diligence. That means vetting vendors up front, monitoring them constantly, and having exit plans if things go south. Oh, and they're also flagging AI risks, like if your vendor's AI gets hacked or starts spitting out biased data. It's a wake-up call for Wall Street. Then there's the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, along with the Federal Reserve and FDIC. Back in 2023, they issued joint guidance on third-party risk management. And in 2025, they're doubling down. Banks are getting hit with tougher exams to make sure their vendors aren't a liability. A recent case saw a U.S. bank fined $1.3 billion for sloppy third-party oversight. Proof regulators mean business. And keep an eye on the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They're pushing a new rule to treat some data brokers as credit reporting agencies under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. If that sticks, vendors handling consumer data will face stricter rules. With a new administration in 2025, we might see shifts, maybe more AI-friendly policies, but the trend is clear. Vendors are under the microscope. So how do Europe and the US stack up? Europe's approach is more unified. Think DORA, PSD3, the AI Act, all part of a big digital package. The US is more piecemeal, with agencies like FINRA, OCC, and CFPB tackling it from different angles. But the goal's the same: hold companies accountable for their vendors. Europe's a bit ahead on cybersecurity mandates, while the US is leaning into flexibility, but both are tightening the screws. Now, what can you do about it? Whether you're in Europe, the US, or anywhere else, here are 5 practical tips to manage third-party risk in 2025. 1. Vet your vendors hard. Don't just trust a shiny sales pitch. Check their security, compliance, and track record. 2. Monitor in real time. Annual audits aren't enough anymore. Use tools to track vendor risks daily. 3. Build strong contracts. Include clauses for security standards, audits, and exit strategies. 4. Test your resilience. Run drills to see how you'd handle a vendor breach or outage. 5. Stay informed. Regulations are evolving fast. Follow updates from the EU, FINRA, or whoever governs your industry. And that's the rundown on third-party risk in 2025. Regulators in Europe and the US are targeting vendors like never before, and it's up to businesses to keep up. From DORA in the EU to FINRA's new focus in the US, the message is clear. Your vendors are your responsibility. So, stay sharp, stay compliant, and don't let a third-party slip-up sink your ship. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more deep dives like this. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think about these regulations, or if you've dealt with vendor risks yourself. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.